Hi, Jane here. Welcome back. This week we're going to talk about your mindset as a writer, or if you're even aware that you have a mindset as a writer. Now this is being done in January, and so we're a couple of weeks in, a little more, and we're to that point where a lot of people who have made New Year's resolutions have all of a sudden realized that, oops, something's not working. Um, there's a difference between mindset and resolutions. Resolution, basically, for me, is when you just um, you make the decision to I'm going to do this, and that's pretty much just what you do. It's just I'm going to do this, and that's it. And you put your thought behind it, and at the time you're really into it. But as time goes along, real life sets in, and then all of a sudden that day comes when life happens to the degree that all of a sudden you can't do that thing that you said you were going to do. And that starts a downward spiral that ultimately ends in that resolution just going away. A mindset is a different thing. A mindset is that support under you that undergirds what you decide to do. And so I want to take that apart a little bit today and talk about that, and hopefully give you some good guidance for walking into this new year, so that I'm not hung up on, oh, I've decided I'm going to do this on the first day of the year, and so if I haven't started now, oh, I failed. I don't think like that at all. Pick a date, and that's your start date, and you go from there. So it's the middle of January. I don't care if it's the middle of July. I don't care when you're finding this video or reading this blog. Now's the time. It's always now. Wherever you are, whenever you are, now is now. And I like that. Now is always with us. Now, you may be familiar with this saying that it comes out in a lot of different little variances, but if you want something you've never had before, you have to be willing to do something you've never done before. And that has been erroneously attributed to Thomas Jefferson, I believe, but apparently he never said it, so I'm not sure where it came from, but whoever said it, I'm glad they did, because I really believe it. I really believe it to be true. So it's really true for a person who wants to write. Maybe you've come up with the idea, yeah, I want to write this year. And you start out great. You got pen and paper. You got your clicking keys. Words are coming out. That's really good. But that writer's bliss, I call it writer's bliss, it only lasts for so long a time. And then life begins to happen. And one day you wake up and things don't go exactly the way you wanted, and you don't write that day. And so your guilt will say things like, oh, it's okay, I'll write double tomorrow. It'll be all right. And then that part of you that tries to justify everything, that tries to make everything be okay, everything is fine, the little peacekeeper, that little voice says, it won't kill you to miss one day. And it's those little things. They may not seem big at the time, but you at that point are in the process of kissing your writing idea goodbye, because one thing follows another. And the truth is, life happens on a daily basis. It's always there in front of us, and it's always affecting us. So there's more to it. That's why I want to talk about these 5 keys to mindset, to equip you properly, so that as you make that decision to write, and you start and you want to, that want to turns into, I am doing this, look at what I'm doing, and you're successful with it. A mindset is really the difference between success and failure for writing. Now, when I talk about success here, yes, writing can have financial success to it, but in case you're wondering, that's not what I'm talking about as a successful writer. What a successful writer is, in my thinking here, is someone who's writing every day and is opening their heart up and pouring out that message, that story, that whatever that is inside you, and you're getting it out on a daily basis. Writers write. Am I a writer? I have to ask you, if you're asking that question, I have to ask you a counter question. Are you writing? Because the simple truth is, writers write. Every word you write doesn't have to be part of a masterpiece. It's not. But writers write. Writers wake up in the morning and think about writing. They think about it all through the day and they run to it in every opportunity they get. If you're passionate about it and you're doing it, you're a writer. But you may be a writer who just hasn't learned how to develop that mindset to allow yourself to practice that writing every day. That's what we're talking about here. And the first key to this, honestly, is about a decision. Your mindset is meant to be a strong foundation um, to keep you in line so that you achieve your goals and your desires, your dreams, your writing dreams. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to do a blog. There's unlimited numbers of things that we can do. But whatever yours is, if you want to write, you have to take the time to build under yourself a strong writer's mindset. Part of that is decision. Now, part of decision making is embracing change. Writers have to be willing to change. Everything, it's easy today to get into this mindset that everything has to flow exactly the way I want it to, and then I'm peaceful and happy and I can accomplish my tasks. And not everybody runs that way, but I talk to many people who do. And so when the stumbles come and when life happens and things, the course changes, they're left up in the air. They get emotional, they get angry, they get upset, they get depressed, they, pick a place they go to because it's not working out the way they want to. But when you've made a decision that I am going to write, and if I have to change, be willing to do things you've never done, I'm willing to change in order to accomplish this that I'm wanting to do, then that decision, oof, that has set you up for successful writing. It's set you up to overcome those obstacles when they meet you. And they'll meet you from day to day. Without that proactive mindset working under you, the sad truth is that you'll just stop. You won't write. You'll start out, but everything, pressures, distractions, circumstances in your day, they'll take you out and you will stop. And that's just sad because when you started out, that's not what you wanted to do. You weren't planning for failure, but without this mindset, you're setting yourself up for failure. The second key in a mindset for a writer is about expansion. Expansion? Yeah, expansion. If you're not someone who's into goals and planning and finding direction for yourself, it's part of expansion for you is taking on those things and embracing that kind of change. Expansion is another part of doing what you're not used to doing so that you can have what you've never had before. And it's actually about forming direction for yourself through goals and planning and scheduling. And it's about creating time and space to accommodate what you're wanting to do on a daily basis. For a writer, it's daily. If you're going to write, you have to write every day. There's just no way around that. You just have to write every day. It can be just a few hundred words, or 500 words a day is a really good. Many people shoot for that. Some shoot for 800 words a day. If you have to start with 300 words a day, find your place where you're good with it, but don't settle for just comfortable. Push yourself a little, but find that daily word count and do it every day. It's part of what you're doing here. Whether it's on topic or just in general, you have to write every day. It's a given. But this kind of brings you to the place of needing to honor the writer within you, the message within you, and also honoring the person who's going to hear the message that's within you. We don't talk a lot about honoring today, especially in terms like that, but it's very valid in terms of a writer. There is more to writing than just sitting down and putting words to paper. There's purpose behind it. There's reason. There's desire behind it. and there are goals behind it. There's a why behind your writing. You have to get in touch with that. That's all part of expansion. I have talked about that a lot in other posts and other videos. Check back through the files, and you'll see it in the titles. You'll find it. Follow through those things and refresh yourself in those again. But expansion is making room for what presently or prior to right now has not been available to you. Um, Doing this is just a guarantee. If you set yourself up physically, mentally, emotionally to write daily, you will write daily. That's just the simple truth. You will. And that's just huge in the overall scheme of things. This mindset takes you out of that element of I've made a resolution, oh, I missed it, I dropped it, and then you don't ever pick it up again. If you fail, if you miss for a day or two, your mindset will pick you back up and pull you back in place. You won't drift off and stop because this mindset under you is proactive. And as you will see, there's some elements to it that won't let go of you, even if you kind of sort of want to let go of it, because there's some things in place. And one of the biggest things is the third key to this, and it's commitment. In a writer's mindset, proactively, you've put a commitment in place. Now, it's a big word, and a lot of people don't like commitment. You know, it means something. It requires something of you. Yes, it does. It requires a commitment. It requires you showing up and being accountable for what you've said you were going to do. And we need to do that with ourselves. It's a very healthy process. Now, in this mindset, you are committing to yourself and you honor yourself. Like I said, you honor yourself, you honor the message that's in you, and you honor the one who's going to receive that message in whatever form you're going to put it out. That's honoring. That's a commitment. Now, in the past, I've gone through leadership courses, through professional groups. Yeah, I owned my own company for 20 years in California, and we went through a lot of leadership training in those days. That's been invaluable. I've still lived through it, from it. But no matter which group I was in, many of them, if not all of them, right off the top of my head, I can't think of one that didn't. But when they would bring you to a place of making a commitment in your process, they would have you set a monument of sorts, a marker, if you will. Now, for some, that might be just you take a picture of yourself when you've at the moment you've made that commitment. You take a picture of yourself. We live in a day of selfies now. I had to have somebody else shoot the picture for me back then. It's been a long time ago. Cell phones, what were those? But we live in a day where it's not hard to take a picture of yourself at any given moment. You take a picture of yourself, you date it, you copy it out, you print it, and you put it where you can see it on a regular basis. You hold it before you. It makes a monument or a marker. For some of you, you might write out a little contract with yourself. This is what I contract to do. And it's very simple, very straightforward. You sign it and date it. And then you put that in front of you where your little eyes can see it all the time. That holds you to that commitment. It keeps that commitment before your eyes all the time. Now, there are other ways that you can remind yourself of your commitment, and there's not a right or wrong. The important thing is that you find what works for you and you utilize it. Do it. Just do it. Resist the temptation to gloss over this, even though that's new and foreign to you. We're talking about doing something you've never done before in order to have something you've never had before. So if it's new to you, don't gloss over it. Take the time to do it. It's a strong part of your writer's insurance policy, if you will, which is your writer's mindset. The fourth element to your mindset is about flexibility. Now, we've talked a little bit about rigidity. You know, when life doesn't happen the way we think it should, we freak out and stop. Well, one of the reasons that think about New Year's resolutions again. One of the things that happens, your initial concept begins to crumble away. How does that happen? Let's say you make a decision, you're going to go to the gym and work out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this year. It was your New Year's resolution, you're going to go. First Monday comes along, that's not a holiday. First Monday comes along and you show up at the gym on time, you do your thing, you are proud of yourself, pat yourself on the back, and you deserve it. Job well done. Wednesday comes, Friday comes, same thing. You are on a roll, the week has been good. First week is great. Congratulations. Week 2, maybe week 3 comes. At some point, that week by week, you're doing fine. But at some point, Monday comes. You know where I'm going. The morning starts cloudy and cold. It is so warm and cozy in your bed. The curtains are pulled. It's dark. It's nice. The cat or dog is curled up at your feet. You're comfortable. I don't want to get up early and go to the gym first thing in the morning. And so you talk yourself out of it. And so you stay in bed. You take those extra minutes of sleep. Maybe you sleep in an hour. There goes the gym. You dash off to work. You're almost late. That sets the tone for the day. Nothing at work on the job goes the way you think it's going to. It's Monday. You know what Monday conjures up. It's Monday, and Monday happens all day long. And you've kind of assuaged yourself by saying, well, I'll go later. I'm still good. But then later comes, you had to stay late at work. It's now way later than your normal time to leave. You're hungry. Maybe it started to rain. It's nasty out. The last thing you want to do is take the extra time to go to the gym and work out before you go home. What do? You go into that next little voice that says, it's not going to kill me if I miss once. I'll work harder next time. You were on the way to dropping away from that resolution, and the gym is going to become a thing of the past. And it happens fast, That justification comes in, and the next thing you know, oh, I'm okay. I'll do it later, or it's not the end of the world. Well, those are both true statements, but in terms of your commitment to accomplishing what you set out to accomplish, there's a different scenario. That one's not very effective. There's no support under you for that. An effective way to deal with it is to have a proactive mindset in place. What does that mean? When that fateful Monday comes, it's not lending itself well to you doing what you want, what you said you were going to do. That mindset kicks in. Number one, you've made decisions, you've come up with a plan, you've set goals, you've expanded your outlook and your possibilities, you've expressed and created a willingness to step out of your comfort zone, and you've chosen to honor at every level. That's way different than just saying, hey, I'm just going to go work out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now you've got something in place under you that you've marked also with a strong commitment. You've taken a picture of yourself on that day that you decided to do this and said, this is what I'm doing. Smack, bang, there's your picture. And now you can look yourself in the eye and go, am I going to honor you or not? That's a huge difference between just a blind resolution and, well, it's nasty out, I'll go later. There's a big difference there. So you set yourself up for writing success by putting all these elements of your mindset in place. When the time comes to write, back to the gym example, that proactive mindset would either maybe have you go on, even though it is comfy and wonderful in bed, you go on, you think about that commitment, and you throw the covers back, you jump in the shower, and you go. And you show up on time, and you do your workout, and then you go to work, and maybe the day doesn't even turn out as bad as what it did by you staying home and sleeping that extra hour. Or B, you are not able to go in that morning, but before the day is over, you make the decision and the plan and the schedule that no matter what time I leave work tonight, I'm going to the gym before I go home. That's the difference between having that proactive mindset under you and just making some glib statement, I'm going to go work out this year. You have to have that support. To not have that is just to set yourself up to fail in whatever you're doing. Now, the same is true with writing. Life does happen, and you know going in that it does. You know that at some point there are going to be days when circumstances are just going to alter your original plan for the day. And there's nothing you can do about some of that. Some of it there is, but sometimes there's not. So be willing and be quick to come up with that alternative. What can I do instead? So that by the end of that same day, even though it didn't happen the way you anticipated it happening, you have still accomplished what you set out to do. That's the key to being successful in getting where you want to go. The last element to mindset that I want to talk about is follow through. If you're like me, what I consider easy is when I'm doing something where I'm in comfortable surroundings, doing something that I'm comfortable with. I like to be comfortable. We all do. That's great. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't hardly ever happen sometimes, I feel like sometimes I'm always doing something that I'm not super comfortable with, and maybe I don't understand everything about it, or maybe I don't feel just right, or my schedule isn't just right, but I got to do it anyway. I have to just choose to do it anyway. Now, following through with your writing decision and your commitment means that you're determined to do that daily writing no matter what. The circumstances are not going to dictate to you. You find the way to write every single day. Now, your mind and body, it's interesting how they fight with you. You make a commitment like that, and then they just flat don't want to do it. My head wants to think about other stuff, or go to a bad place, or do something else, or criticize. My head is no different than anybody else's, Or your body's, I'm just tired. I'd just rather sit in front of the TV and veg tonight, and I'll do it tomorrow. We can't do that. I fight the same things in my own life. I refuse to do that. So you set yourself up to follow through with what you've decided. And the truth is, all the feelings and the issues, we need to write if it's comfortable or uncomfortable, convenient or inconvenient. Write when you're tired, exhausted, when you're happy, sad, when you're busy, when you're relaxed. All of those moods and all of those circumstances will affect your writing to some degree, and that's not a bad thing. You'll learn some things about yourself by writing when you're tired, or by writing when you're frustrated, by writing when it's inconvenient, because you're looking at it, you're coming from a different place. That's not a bad thing. We're always talking about improving our writing skills and doing things that we've never done before. It is healthy and good to explore those different areas of yourself. The thing is, you have to get out of that old mindset that says, if things aren't exactly the way I want them, I just can't do this. There is nothing magic about writing. You just put the words together. You can speak it into a microphone if you want and transcribe it later. Writing is talking on paper or talking through a keyboard. You talk no matter what, and you can write no matter what too. Be ready for those things. Expect the challenges and decide just to write anyway. Now, the whole point here is just following through with your commitment. I think I know if you'll do this and follow this advice and develop your own writer's mindset, you will find out that mindset is everything to you. It will keep you on track. It will make or break your success in writing. If you want to write a book, if you want to develop a blog and write your weekly blog posts or more often, you want to do ebooks, all these things that you're thinking about doing but you're afraid to start, this mindset will change all of that, and it will see you through to the completion of each of those projects. It's amazing. If you want to write your family history, you want to write your favorite fiction that just keeps playing in your head that, oh, I just need to write this. Do it. But put a mindset, a strong, proactive writer's mindset under it, and it'll just take you so far down the road. I hope this information is helpful to you this week. I so enjoy sharing my heart with you and my knowledge, my experience. If you need any help with your writing project, please contact me. You know how, it's down below. Thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. God bless.